Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. In a scathing attack on Pakistan, India has said that if there is an unfinished agenda at the UN, it is that of tackling the scourge of terrorism and the country, a globally recognized epicenter of menace which harbors and trains terrorists and hails them as martyrs. Exercising India's right to reply on Monday, First Secretary in the country's permanent mission to the UN, Vidisha Mitra, said Pakistan is a country which is globally recognized as the epicenter of terrorism, which by its own admission harbors and trains terrorists and hails them as martyrs and consistently persecutes its ethnic and religious minorities. She was referring to Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's remarks in the country's parliament, where he had termed former Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden as a martyr. We reject the malicious reference made to the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, which is an integral part of India. If there is an item that is unfinished on the agenda of the UN, it is that of tackling the scourge of terrorism, Mitra said. As the UN member of state marked 75th years of the United Nations, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on Monday racked up the issue of Jammu and Kashmir during his address to the high-level meeting on the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the World Organization. Hong Kong has no legal basis to demand that any particular rights be extended to 12 Hong Kong people detained in China as they try to flee by boat, and they will have to face the law there, the city's chief executive said on Tuesday. Then 12 were arrested on August 23 for illegal entry into mainland Chinese waters after setting off from Hong Kong in a boat bound for self-ruled Taiwan following a crackdown on pro-democracy activists in the former British colony. Their fail to bid to flee to Taiwan has highlighted the fears that many people feel in semi-autonomous Hong Kong about what they see as China's determination to end any push for greater democracy in the financial hub. Chinese police have said the 12 were suspected of illegal border crossing. China's foreign ministry has called them separatists. Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam was asked her weekly news conference if she could ensure that the 12 would be afforded human rights safeguards such as presumption of innocence, fair trial and legal representation. We do not have the legal basis to do the things that you want us to do, Carrie Lam said. Mainland authorities have said that legitimate rights of the 12 were being protected according to the law. China's legal system is controlled by and loyal to the ruling Communist Party, meaning courts do not usually challenge party or government accusations. Lam said the 12 would have to face the law in mainland China before they could return to Hong Kong to face justice for any crimes committed at home. Up to 90 whales have died after becoming stranded in a remote bay in southern Australia, which rescuers warning Tuesday the mission to save another 180 still stuck will prove challenging. Scientists said two large pods of long-finned pilot whales become stuck on sandbars in Maniquir Harbour on Tasmania's rugged and sparsely populated west coast. Government marine biologist Chris Carloin said about a third of the 270 animals were dead by late Monday, and that rescuing survivors would be a challenging task likely to take several days. Though mass whale strandings occur relatively often in Tasmania, such a large group has not been seen in the area for more than a decade. The animals are only accessible by boat, limiting the number of rescuers who can reach them. About 60 people, including volunteers and local fish farm workers, are involved in the rescue attempt. They are battling cold, wet conditions as well as the harbor's unusual tides, which are dictated by barometric pressure. Most of a 30-strong group on a nearby beach were found dead on Monday, while about 60 other whales on the sandbars are also believed to have since died. NASA on Monday revealed its latest plan to return astronauts to the moon in 2024 and estimated the cost of meeting that deadline as $28 billion, $16 billion of which would be spent on the lunar landing module. Congress, which faces election on November 3, will have to sign off on the financial for a project that has been set up by US President Donald Trump as a priority. The $28 billion would cover the budgetary years of 2021-25. In a phone briefing with journalists on Monday, the Artemis mission to return human beings to the moon, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine noted that political risks were often the biggest threat to NASA's work, especially before such a crucial election. Barack Obama cancelled plans for a manned Mars mission after his predecessor spent billions of dollars on the project. If Congress approves the first tranche of $3.2 billion by Christmas, we are still on the track for a 2024 moon landing, Bridenstine said. 3 different projects are in competition to build the lunar lander that will carry 2 astronauts to the moon from their vessel Orion. The first one is being developed by Blue Origin, founded by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, in partnership with Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman and Draper. The other 2 projects are being undertaken by Elon Musk SpaceX and by the company Dynetics. The first flight, Artemis 1, scheduled for November of 2021, will be unmanned. The new giant rocket SLS, currently in its test phase, will take off for the first time with the Orion capsule. Artemis 2 in 2023 will take astronauts around the moon but will not land. INS Virat, the world's largest serving warship that was decommissioned by the Indian Army 3 years ago, has arrived off the Alang coast in Gujarat for dismantling, an official said on Tuesday. The aircraft carrier began its final journey from the naval dockyard in Mumbai on Saturday and reached the waters at Alang in Bhavnagar district on Monday evening. It will be dismantled at the shipbreaking yard in Alang and then sold as scrap. The warship, which was inducted into the Indian Navy in 1987, was purchased by Shriram Group for a sum of rupees 38.54 crore at an auction in July this year. INS Virat holds the record of being the world's longest serving warship. It was the second Centaur class aircraft carrier which was in service with the Indian Navy for 29 years before being decommissioned in March 2017. There were proposals in the past to preserve it as a maritime museum. In July 2019, the central government said in Parliament that the decision to scrap INS Virat was taken in due consultation with the Indian Navy. It is the second aircraft carrier to be broken down in India. In 2014, INS Vikrant was dismantled in Mumbai. The aircraft carrier in its earlier avatar had won the Falklands War against Argentina in 1982 for the Royal British Navy. Leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, on Tuesday said the opposition will boycott the proceedings of the House till the suspension of 8 members is revoked. Speaking after the 0 hour, Azad also demanded that the government brings a bill which should ensure private players do not procure food grains below the minimum support price fixed by the government. He also asked the government that the MSP should be fixed from time to time as the C2 Swaminathan formula. As many as 8 members of the Rajya Sabha were suspended on Monday after the government brought a motion in this regard, which was passed by the House by voice vote. These 8 members were suspended for unruly behavior during the passage of the 2 key farm bills that were passed on Sunday by Rajya Sabha amid chaos. The Rajya Sabha on Tuesday passed the Banking Regulation Bill 2020 to bring cooperative banks under the supervision of the RBI. During the discussion on the bill, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told the House that several cooperative banks came under stress during the COVID-19 pandemic and their finances are being closely monitored by RBI. The amendment is to protect the interest of depositors, and the legislation will help a quick recovery in cases of stressed cooperative banks without any moratorium. She said. Sitharaman assured the House that the legislation empowers the central bank to regulate only the banking activities of cooperatives, and it is not applicable to a primary agricultural credit society or a cooperative society providing finance for agricultural development. The bill has already been passed by the Lok Sabha on September 16. The amendments do not affect existing powers of the state registrars of cooperative societies under state cooperative laws. The legislation also enables making of a scheme of reconstruction or amalgamation of a banking entity for protecting the interest of depositors without resorting to moratorium that frees withdrawals by depositors. The bill replaces an ordinance that was promulgated in pursuance of the commitment to ensure safety of depositors across bank by the President on June 26. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
कजारिया टाइल्स इतनी खूबसूरत कि हर कोई घर में रहना चाहे। कजारिया, जो देखे वो दीवाना।
घर બહુ સરસ છે નિખિલ.
થેન્ક યુ સર.
અચ્છા, આવતા અઠવાડિયે પેલું ક્લાયન્ટ પ્રપોઝલ તું જ પ્રેઝન્ટ કરી દેજે.
સર
માનવું પડશે, ખરેખર સુંદર ઘર છે.
સર એકચ્યુઅલી આવતા અઠવાડિયે તો
અરે હા, તું તો છુટ્ટી પર છે ને?
હા સર.
ક્યાં જવાનો પ્લાન બનાવ્યો છે?
અહીંયા સર, આ સુંદર ઘરમાં.
આજે ઘરમાં જ રહીએ ને.
આવો સર.
થોડી પળો ઘરમાં જ માણીએ.
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. The CBI has registered a case against the Delhi-based private firm Quality Limited and its directors for causing an alleged loss of over 1,400 crore to a consortium of banks led by Bank of India. Following registrations of the case on September 10, the agency on Monday conducted searches at the premises of the accused firm and its directors. The CBI registered the case on a complaint from Bank of India against Quality Limited and others, including its directors and other unknown persons, for causing an alleged loss of rupees 1,400 crore to Bank of India and other consortium banks. The agency said it was alleged in the complaint that the said accused had cheated the Bank of India-led consortium comprising BOI, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, Andhra Bank, Corporation Bank, IDBI, Central Bank of India, Dhanlakshmi Bank and Syndicate Bank to the tune of rupees 1,400 crore by way of diversion of bank funds, sham transactions with related parties, fabricated documents or receipts, falsified books of accounts, created false assets and liabilities, among others. The searches were conducted at 8 locations, including Delhi, Sarhanpur, Bulandshahr, Ajmer and Panwar, at premises of private company and other accused persons in the case. Further investigation is continuing. Those named as accused in the case include Quality Limited, Sanjay Dhingra, Siddhant Gupta, Arun Srivastava and other unknown persons. According to the FIR, diversion or misappropriation of public money by the accused firm and individuals was done during the period of 2010 to 2017. As the number of coronavirus cases in India mounts and the demands for medical facilities increases, a survey by local circles said that only 4% patients were able to get a COVID-19 ICU bed through the routine process, while 78% had to use connections and cloud. Another 4% said they did not get an ICU bed at all. After receiving many complaints from citizens from across the country about their family, friends or associates not being able to find an ICU bed at government or private hospital, local circles conducted a survey to get citizens' pulse on the issue and received over 17,000 responses from citizens located in over 211 districts of the country on experiences of the people in their social network with regard to getting a COVID-19 ICU bed. 55% citizens said that they did not have any person in their network who needed it. 38% respondents said they had to use clot to secure an ICU bed, while 7% said they had to follow up extensively to secure the ICU bed. The Shiromani Akali Dal, the BJP's oldest ally, on Tuesday announced road blockade across Punjab on September 25 to protest against the contentious farm bills passed by the parliament. Rajya Sabha passed the Essential Commodities Bill 2020 during the day. It had cleared the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill 2020 and the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Prices Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020 on Sunday. The bills had been passed by Lok Sabha last week. It has been decided to hold a Chakka Jam on September 25 in Punjab against these farm bills, SAD leader Daljit Singh Cheema said. He said the party's senior leaders, workers, farmers and farm laborers will block roads in state of the 3 hours from 11 a.m. in a peaceful manner. Notably, around 30 farmer outfits have already given a call for a complete shutdown in Punjab on September 25 in protest against the bills. Party chief Sukhbir Singh Badal would launch a 4-day statewide mass contact program on September 26, during which he would make party workers aware about the adverse impact of these bills on the farming community, Cheema said. He added that on October 1, the party leadership would present to the Punjab governor a memorandum addressed to the President Ramnath Kovind. An appeal would be made to take back these bills, Cheema said. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Tuesday the new education policy announced by his government will play a key role in creating a self-reliant India and open up the education sector for facilitating greater global exposure for Indian students. Modi said holistic knowledge blended with the understanding of science is answer to all problems. I firmly believe the future of the nation is what you think today. Your dreams will shape the future of India. We need to be future ready, future fit, he said, addressing the 22nd convocation of IIT Guwahati through a video conference from the national capital. Modi spoke about the importance of education as a key component for creating an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The NAP, which is designed to ease the burden of classroom teaching and examination on students, will play an important role in the country's march forward, he said. The NAP will open up the education sector. It will facilitate setting up campuses of foreign universities in India and enable Indian students to get global exposure, the Prime Minister said. The February riots in northeast Delhi coincided with the US President Donald Trump's visit when the national capital was on a high alert. The deployment data related to the violence hit areas cited in one of the charge sheets filed in connection show how police were unprepared or had not anticipated the scale of the clashes. The Delhi police have been criticized for not anticipating the scale of the riots despite multiple intelligence warnings of a major communal flare-up. At least 53 people died, while 400 others were injured in the riots. On February 23, when the first incidents of violence were reported from Jafarabad, there were only 1,393 police personnel deployed. The data on the police deployment is mentioned in the charge sheet that police filed last week in connection with the conspiracy behind the riots. On February 24, when large-scale violence broke out in parts of northeast Delhi, there were only 1,361 police personnel on the ground. On February 25, the third day of the violence, only 1,399 police personnel were posted. Most cases of rioting, murders and violence were reported between February 23 and 25. On the night of February 25, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval visited the riot-hit areas along with current Police Commissioner S.N. Srivastava, who was transferred back to the Delhi Police on the evening of February 25 to control the riots. Records show that following Doval's visit, the strength of the police personnel on the ground increased almost 4 times. With additional reinforcement from the center, there was 4,291 personnel from police and parliamentary forces, which increased to 4,756 on February 28. Between February 24 and 27, the charge sheet shows that the fire department received at least 242 calls of arson from the police and residents. Records show that the most 95 fire calls were received on February 25. During the clashes, a tire market in Gokalpuri, a parking lot with over 150 cars in Shiv Vihar, and houses of residents were burnt. The S&P, BSE Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 indexes fell for a 4th day in a row on Tuesday, weighed down by selling pressure across sectors bearing information technology and pharma shares. The Sensex ended 300 points lower at 37,734 and Nifty 50 index fell 97 points to close at 11,154. 9 of 11 sector gauges complied by the National Stock Exchange ended lower, led by the Nifty Media Index's 2.6% decline. Nifty Bank, PSU Bank, Private Bank, Realty, Auto and Financial Services indices also fell over 1% each. On the other hand, IT and pharma shares witnessed buying interest. Reliance Industries, HDFC Twins, Axis Bank, Maruti Suzuki, L&T and Kotak Mahindra Bank were among the top drags on the Sensex. They collectively contributed over 200 points towards a decline on the Sensex. Mid and small cap shares also witnessed selling pressure. as Nifty Mid Cap 100 and Nifty Small Cap 100 indexes fell around 1.5% each. Zee Entertainment was top Nifty loser. The stock closed over a 6% lower at 197. Bharti Infratel, GAIL India, Adani Ports, Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, Axis Bank and BPCL also fell between 2 to 4.5% each. On the flip side, HCL Technologies, TCL, Tech Mahindra, Grasim Industries, Cipla, Dr. Reddy's Lab, Bharti Airtel and SBI were among the gainers. The overall market breadth was negative as 1800 shares closed lower while 765 closed higher on the BSE. The domestic prices of petrol and diesel were cut by 7 to 15 paise across the metros on Tuesday. In Delhi, the rate of petrol was slashed to 81.06 per litre from 81.14 per litre, and diesel was cut to 71.28 per litre from 71.43 per litre, which effect from 6 am on September 22, according to notifications from Indian Oil Corporation, the country's largest fuel retailer. This marks the sixth consecutive daily decline in the price of diesel. State-run oil marketing companies such as Indian Oil Corporation currently review the petrol and diesel prices on a daily basis and implement any revisions at fuel stations with effect from 6 am. Meanwhile, oil prices plunged about 5% on Monday, weakening as rising coronavirus cases stoked worries about global demand. Brent crude settled down $1.71 at $41.44 a barrel. US crude fell 1.80 to $39.31 a barrel. Both contracts were set for their biggest daily drops in 2 weeks. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.